What's up, everybody? It is I, Jay, and this is your episode of Phrasing with Jay. I think it's episode 13, I think. I've had a long week, to put it lightly. I've had a really long week. Oh, my God. And yeah, I could go into it, but at the end of the day, that's not why you all show up to listen to the show. And so let me plug the social media before I forget anything else. Check me out on Instagram. Go give me a follow over there and be a part of my stories and all those things, because I don't really post any posts necessarily. I do reels and I do yeah, I know. Jay, you make reels? Yes, I make reels. I just don't watch them. A lot of people have found it very entertaining being on my YouTube channel, which I'll plug in a second with that video I made where everything on Instagram is the same, because indeed it is. Everything on Instagram is literally the same, and it's fucking annoying, and I hate it, and I hate everything about it, but oh my God. Let me step away from it for a second. All right. Let me just plug the social media. You could follow me on Instagram at GameJSUS. You could follow me on YouTube or subscribe to me, hit the bell, do all the things with the likes and the subs and the fancy smancy at GameJ. Follow me on Twitter or X at GameJ1. That's the number 1, not the word. And Twitch at GameJ. And that's all the plugs I got in store for you today. I have a Blue Sky, and that's GameJ, I think. And Spotify. Go check out the podcast on Spotify at Phrasing with Jay, as well as YouTube and YouTube Music. That was a cool thing. I just realized that the podcast was, oh God, I did it again. I just realized the show was on YouTube Music, and that was something that was hilarious. I'd known for a while, but I always just, for whatever reason, forget. I always think about the Spotify first. And then, what was the other thing that I'm on? Oh, I make music. And you could follow my Spotify at GameJ as well. And I got a few weird things to talk about today. Not so much video games or anything like that. It's kind of more what happened to me in my own real life, which for whatever reason, I don't know why I don't talk about more. Probably because I value my privacy and I'm absolutely terrified of people getting too close, because if we're going to keep this parasocial relationship going, let's do it the right way. No personal details. Go fuck yourself. Oh my God. But if I am going to talk about anything in my personal life that I'm happy to share with you, outside the fact that bodybuilding, that I'm preparing for the bodybuilding competition, and I'll talk about that more, maybe in a little, depending on what goes on in my head and things of that nature. But this is weird. All right, this is one of those stories where it doesn't go how you think it's going to go. And just, it's one of these situations where you go, oh my God, truth is stranger than fiction, and you can't write this stuff. I was over at the mall, basic mall, you know what I mean? Got stores, they got pawn shops and video game stores and shoe store. I'm a fucking, what am I doing describing to everybody what a mall is? You all know what a mall is. I was at the mall and I'd finished my shopping and all the stuff that I'm doing all the stuff I was doing all the stuff I was buying to get ready to move into my new apartment, because I'm still transitioning from the old place where I'm currently at right now, where all my equipment still is set up, to the new place, which now has a refrigerator and a couch and Wi-Fi. So slowly but surely, I'm moving all my stuff over there. It's just, moving is expensive. It costs money. I haven't made enough money yet, so I'm trying to earn it and then move all my shit over there, and then I'm back to square one. Oh my God. But suffice it to say, I did all my shopping at the mall, and I'm smoking a cigarette, waiting for my cab to come. And, a woman walks up to me and asks me for a spare square. She's like, you got a cig? Well, she said, you got a cigarette. I call them squares because I'm from Chicago. But I don't know if that's just a United States thing. but it's definitely a Midwest thing. Like, we call them squares. Because if you look at a new pack of cigarettes and you pack them down, if you pull it out the box, it doesn't look like a circle. It looks like a square. That's just how I've always associated it with. So the girl, or woman, rather, this was not a girl. This was very much a fucking full-grown woman. She asked me for a square, and I give her one, and then I ask her just the most casual question in the world, and I go, so what's up? What are you doing out here today? You think it's going to be a basic small talk type of situation. No, I'm not one for small talk. I'm not exactly a fan of it, but the woman stood right next to me and was smoking her cigarette, kind of looking at me. So I felt obligated to at least be polite, at minimum. Normally I would have said, fuck off, but I'm waiting on a cab and I can't exactly go, fuck off, bitch, punch her and run away. That's not the way it works. And she responds to me after I asked her how she was and all this type of shit, with an answer that I did not think I was going to hear that day. I was not prepared for what she said. So I asked her, yeah, what's up, shorty? How you doing? What's your day, babe? How your day going? What you up to today, sweetheart? And she looks at me and she goes, I'm okay. I'm like, what do you mean you okay? What's going on? Just questioning, seeing what the fuck's up, because I'm prodding. I want to know a little more. And she goes, I'm selling my body. And I swear to God, I stopped smoking my cigarette. I turned to her and I went, excuse me? Like, what? What are you doing? She goes, I'm selling my body. And I'm going, in my mind, I'm going, oh my God, is she a prostitute? Oh, fuck, I'm talking to a hooker. Oh, God damn it, I'm talking to a motherfucking hooker. And so I look at her, I go, what? Why? Why are you selling your body? Like, what the fuck? Why? Why would you be a hooker? Like, why would you choose that profession? And she goes, well, I fell on hard times, and she gave me this story and about how she fell on hard times. She kind of got hooked on drugs and she doesn't have any money. So she started being a prostitute. She's a sex worker now. And I'm going, what the fuck? What are you? And I looked over at her and I pointed to this like civic center place that's across the street from where I'm standing, where we're both standing. It's across the street. And I go, why don't you go over to the civic center? They could help you out. And she goes, I don't know if I could go in there, blah, 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 blah. I haven't been there in a while. I'm like, what do you mean you ain't been there in a while? Like that's the place you need to go. A place like that is designed to help people like in your situation, so you don't got to be on the street hooking and selling your body, risking death and all this other terrible shit. And she goes, yeah, I used to work there. And I nearly choked on my cigarette. I was going, wait, what? What the fuck? You used to work there? She goes, yeah. And I went, what the fuck? And I looked at her. I went, how the fuck did you go from working at a civic center, which is a government position, that's a government job, that's a salary, that's benefits, that's not just a job, that's a career. Like that's life-changing for some people. You can comfortably pay your bills and live a normal life working at that type of position. And she goes, I got addicted to drugs. I fell on hard times and, it just didn't work out over there. And I'm looking at her going, girl, why are you selling your body? What? And I probably shouldn't have said this because this poor woman's probably taking my advice right now. Note to everybody listening right now, never take my advice on anything unless it's exercise or very limited life things. Now, if it's a motivational thing, yeah, sure, listen to me, but not a normal stuff. And I turned to this chick and I'm like, hey, shawty, what you mean? Like, you could just get a PayPal loaded up or get your tax shit figured out and go on OnlyFans and sell your pussy. Like, you don't got to go get it fucking banged out by strangers, risking rape and STDs. You could just go be an internet hoe. How about you go be an internet hoe? That's easier, right? And she's looking at me like, I don't know, maybe. I'm like, what you mean? What the fuck you mean maybe, man? There's you ain't got, I don't see no ring in this girl finger, so she probably got no husband. She ain't got no boyfriend. She hooking on the streets. At that point, motherfucker, I'm thinking, all right, you know what? Maybe OnlyFans and that type of internet whoring is probably a better solution than her actually being a whore out on the street, selling her body, asking random Korean dudes for cigarettes. I just don't think that's... I think we've chosen the lesser of two evils here if she went the OnlyFans route, but no. She wants to go sell her body out on the motherfucking street. Okay, fine, do what you do. But I remember asking her this one question, and I have no idea why, but I looked at her. I said, how old are you? She looked at me, and she just calmly answered, I'm 44. And I'm like, you're 44? 40. And now this is why it's relevant to talk about this. She's 44 years old, used to work a government job, and now she got addicted to drugs, lost her government job, and is on the street being a prostitute. People, ladies, gentlemen, some of you, maybe. Look, this is a great example of why you shouldn't get addicted to drugs. Don't do drugs. I'm not talking about smoking weed. Weed is literally like, who cares? That's fucking pot. It's legal in the United States. No one gives a shit. Like, weed isn't that big of a deal. I'm talking about hard drugs. People, don't smoke crack. Crack is whack. Because if you smoke crack and then you're going to have some whack job spreading open yours for fucking $20, like, this is fucking terrible. And I don't mean to laugh, but it was just so strange that I go from shopping for stuff for my new apartment, getting the stuff that I need, waiting on a cab. Next thing I know, I'm talking to a hooker. Probably one of the strangest moments and one of the stranger encounters I've had in my recent life. Like, that was just bizarre. And the conversation ended a lot quicker than you might have thought it did. I stretched it out a little bit for gross exaggeration because it's just ridiculous. She walked off and she got, I don't know, she talked about getting water or something. I don't fucking know, but it just left me stunned. The fact that somebody 40 years old who had a government job now got addicted to drugs, lost their job, and is now a hooker. Talk about a fall from grace. Jesus Christ. Kids, don't do drugs. Stay in school. Be a nerd. It's way better than being a hooker. You don't want to be a hooker. I don't even think hookers want to be hookers. So I did something stupid today. Before I started this very show that I'm recording right now, I walked out of my house and I closed my door. Very normal things, right? And it's just the most ordinary shit in the world. However, walk out my door, close the door, tap my pants pocket. Guess what the fuck I forgot? Forgot my fucking car keys. Oh my God. That's exactly what I forgot. Forgot my car keys, forgot my house keys, locked myself out of the fucking apartment I'm currently staying at. So I you ever have one of those moments where you look up in the sky and you go, oh, God damn it. Why? Why of all things today does this have to happen? I don't understand it myself. I really don't. But after I got over my little, I'm a fucking dumbass type of situation that I had going on in my head, I called the person whose apartment I'm staying at for the time being, and I said, hey, please don't tell me you're at work. Motherfucker goes, I am. And I go, oh, I'm like, I just locked myself out of the apartment. And he goes, can you get to this place? And I go, yeah. And I was just about to book a cab, and he goes, wait a minute, let me call you back. So he hangs up, and I walk to the convenience store and I go get an energy drink because I've been completely drained of energy for fucking at least this week. It's been a lot. There's been a lot going on. And he calls back and he goes, I'm coming your way. Don't worry about it. So it took about 15 minutes and then, he shows up and he gave me some advice about my car because I have a problem with my car right now and I got to get it fixed. And then he let me in and that was literally it. But it was just one of those moments where, have you ever been so absent-minded because of everything else you have going on in life that you just lose your fucking keys and you don't think about these little things? So this, my faux pas, my stupidity, is a great lesson for everybody that before you leave the house, for the love of God, and I need to take this advice myself, even though I don't, because I don't think about these things half the time until they're too late. Check your pockets. Check if you have your wallet. Thank God I had my wallet. If I didn't have my wallet, I wouldn't have been able to even say that I could have traveled to where the dude who owns this place could have let me in. I couldn't even have paid for the cab fare. But thank God I had it. I didn't need to go do that, but I mean, it could have been a lot worse than it actually turned out to be. It's just one of those things that sometimes life just kicks you in the ass. So, okay, that was two bad things that happened to me. I'm waiting on the third. I honestly am. I really am. Bad things happen in threes, so I really hope this next bad thing that happens to me is minor, and it's not. It's not something major that is going to completely debilitate me. Oh my fucking God. I swear, it's just been one of those days, one of those weeks, really. Something I got to talk about specifically. Anybody who drives will understand this. I don't live in the United States anymore. No, nobody ran me out. I made a decision that has kept me here in the United Kingdom for the foreseeable future. And while I may not be happy about it, I am you have to, what do you call it? You have to deal with the consequences of your actions. And yeah, I'm very much dealing with those. But anyways, driving in America, you drive on the right side of the road and the steering column is on the left side of the road. In the UK, your steering column is on the right side and you drive on the left side of the road. And that is probably one of the strangest fucking things I have ever experienced. Now, I'm in the middle of taking driving lessons because I have a United States driver's license. However, here's the shitty part. They would not accept it because it was expired. And I went, motherfucker. So I go, what do you want me to do? I have a fucking license. What do you want me to do? And they go, you have to retake the test. I'm like, wait, what do you mean? Just to get my license? They go, no, you have to get a learner's permit. And then you have to take a driver's test and get driving hours down. And then you got to take the driver's test and the written test. And I'm going, motherfucker. I've had a license since I was 16 years old. Are you fucking telling me I have to do this all over again? They go, yes. I go, oh. Welcome to this country, Jay. Like, seriously, what the fuck? So after my complaining and my hot-headedness, I bit the bullet and I'm in the process of taking driving lessons and all this shit. And I found a good instructor. He's a good guy. He has an 100% pass rate, so that's why I think he's a good guy. If he had anything less than that, I probably wouldn't have hired him. It's just that simple. And he could immediately tell I was American. Because every time I tried to turn, I would immediately instinctually go to the right lane, which is oncoming traffic, which means if a pedestrian is walking down the road, oh, look at my crumpet. Oh, look at my sausage roll. I'm going to hit them and they will die because car beats human. It's like the ultimate form of rock, paper, scissors. Wait, what? Wait, hold on. If car beats human, what beats car? Police. Because people can turn around and fuck police over too. So I don't know. My game of people, car, cop doesn't exactly work. But no, I'm taking lessons with this guy. And I swear to God, if you ever relocate to a different country, for the love of God, make sure your driving license is not expired. Make sure it's valid, because if it's not, you have to go through that country's driving shit. And if you've been driving as long as I have, and then you have to relearn it to the specifications of testing, oh my God, is it a headache? It's a real headache. Now, on the flip side of this, I understand why I need to learn, because it is on a different side of the road. It's a different steering column. I can drive a manual with my right hand and my left foot on the clutch. I cannot drive competently. I could drive it, just not competently. I cannot drive a stick with my left hand, with my left foot on the clutch, and being on the right side in the driver's seat. There's so many things that my brain doesn't comprehend instantly, which in driving, you kind of have to have it click immediately. It's not one of those things that you have to be conscious about. It should be in your subconscious. You should just be able to do it. So I understand the value of having to relearn. As much as I don't like it, I still understand the value of having to do it, because the last thing I want to do is get in a fucking car too early and then hit some poor schmuck, hit some old granny with a French baguette going flying in the air with her brown paper bag. Oh, wait, no, they don't have those out here. Well, I mean, they do, but it just costs more. Everybody buys fucking plastic bags out here. That's one of the stupidest things in the world. Charging people for a fucking bag. Go fuck yourself. Dude, bags are supposed to be free. Seriously. The fuck's going on with this country? But anyways, this isn't driving. This is bitching about bags. But it is kind of stupid. I'm just saying. It's kind of fucking dumb. But I'm learning to drive out here, and oh my God, when I get this license, you best believe I am going to make sure this bitch stays valid. So we're going to switch focus a little bit. And I know I talked about meeting a hooker and all this other fucking shit. Oh my God. Ugh, Jesus Christ, that was weird. But I want to talk about acting. And specifically voice acting and audiobooks in particular. I do audiobooks, and I've done a good number of them. I think about fucking 6, something like that. Maybe more, maybe less. I don't exactly remember. The numbers kind of get lost in the fog every now and then. But and this is to no offense of the author, but fuck you, author. Learn how to write better. I for whatever reason, I work for a couple different producers and advertising companies on the smaller scale who do books, and they hire voice actors to do audiobooks. And I've been lucky enough to get into contact with a couple of these companies and producers and record audiobooks for them. Now, that's great. I'm happy to do it. No problem. Don't give a fuck what the book is. Don't care if I even like the book. But if there's one thing that I really don't like, it is a badly written book. And I don't mean if the content of the book isn't what I like. That is completely irrelevant to me. I don't care what I'm reading. It's not about what I'm reading. I don't even remember the books after I'm done reading them. And I just read the entire book. I'm serious. Like, I don't remember any of them. I couldn't even tell you what audiobooks I recorded because that's how little they stay in my memory. Once I record it and I send off the chapters, it's gone. I don't even remember what I did. All I know is that I clearly did it because they paid me. Like, that's all I fucking know. But if there's one thing I don't like, it's a poorly written book. And I'm talking about books with bad grammar, bad punctuation, with terrible sentence structure, with improper use of words or using the wrong words in place of where the right words are supposed to be. Okay, here's a great example. It was, I think, I can't even remember the exact sentence, but it was something in spear of, or in spear. Instead of like like a spare, they use, I don't even remember what it was. This is a terrible example, but they used the word spear instead of spare. Like they were going to spare something, but they said spear. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know. So, but I'm like, you know what? I contacted the producer and the other people, and they said, you know what? No, the author says this is what they want, and I go, Okay, so spear it is. I now have learned my lesson. Just read it to verbatim and don't give a fuck. Because at a certain point, it is not my problem if the writer can't write, if the editor cannot catch what is clearly obvious errors in the book itself. So authors, for the love of fucking God, from a guy who does audiobooks, who might narrate yours, please use proper punctuation. Please use correct grammar. Please spell things correctly. I do not know how your editors are not finding this. If you're self-editing, hire somebody else. Have a friend look through it. Because by the time it gets to me, as a fucking voice actor, as a narrator, I expect the material. If there's one expectation I have, I expect the material to at least be legible. Okay? Legible. I don't give a fuck what you write. I don't care. It doesn't interest me. What interests me is that I can read it. If I can't read it, how do you expect me to make it sound good? Maybe try reading your own work. And if you are, and you think it's okay, and you send this shit off to me, okay, then don't get mad at me when I read what you wrote exactly verbatim and you think it sucks, because that's not me sucking, that's you. And really, the only reason I'm going to harp on this as harshly as I have is because Look, like I said earlier, I don't care what the book is. I've narrated medical dramas. I've narrated law dramas with romance in them. I don't give a fuck. I do not care what the material is. It's not my job as an actor, as a narrator, to have an opinion on the material. It's not. That is not the position I am being paid for. It is my job to interpret the written word the best I can, to deliver it in the tone and cadence that the production wants and the author wants, so everybody's happy and I get my money and then I'm happy. But the reason I'm so harsh on this is because it is far easier to record a narration for a book that's well written. The reason is because language in a book is a lot easier to read when it's structured properly. When everybody knows this. Okay, here's a quick example. You know the difference between a good book and a bad book, and I'm not talking about content that's within the book. I'm talking about a book that's structured correctly, because there is a right and wrong way to do things. There just is. If you read a book and it's disjointed, they don't use contractions properly, they don't use punctuation properly, the way that they format the dialogue is all over the place, and it's dry and it's boring and it's hacky. It's difficult to narrate. If you make a book and you write a book and it's structured properly and it flows smoothly, well then guess what? The narrator, myself or not myself or anybody else who gets their hands on it who's going to end up narrating it, will have a much easier time recording it for you. Therefore, the turnaround time is quicker. Therefore, you have less time to wait between narration than getting the finished chapter sent in for final revision, and then you go on to press your audiobook out and release it on whatever place that you want to release it on, be it your own website or Audible or Kindle or wherever audiobooks are streaming and all that kind of shit. I literally don't know. I don't do anything but act. I mean, that's just the truth. But I swear to God, and I know why I'm talking about this too. It's just because I spent the last month. No. And here's a great example. It took me a month, over a month, I'd say about a month and a half to record one audiobook. And do you know why the reason it took me so long to record it? One, payment was late, so I'm not going to work if you're not going to pay me. Fuck off. That's not how it works, douchebags. Pay your fucking talent and then they'll work for you. Two, it was written poorly. If a book is terribly written, then it's harder for the actor or the voice actor to narrate it. It's just that simple. So writers, take a bit of advice from somebody who does write, who does voice act, who does produce. And I do a multitude of these things. Write good. If you don't write good, the narration is going to sound hacky and bad. That's not, and I said this a second ago, I'll say it again, it's not the voice actor's fault. That's your fault for being a shitty writer. If I shift some focus away from the differences between a good audiobook and a bad one is, as a lot of you know, or may not know, depending on how long you followed me or how much you check out other work that I've done outside of just listening to the show. And I don't know why that would be a thing. If you're listening to this show, then you clearly know me from other avenues, such as voice acting, such as acting, old shows that I've done perhaps, or music. And I've been making music since 2004. I think I can really say that that's when I really started making my attempts in music and trying to do something with it. Now, I'm not saying I could actually go anywhere with it. I don't know. I think myself as an artist, I think I'm good enough to not embarrass myself when I make music, be it hip hop music, be it singing, be it pop music, whatever genre I slide into, because I used to think I was not able to pick a lane in music. And then over time, I just realized that I don't give a flying fuck. I don't care if it's a hip hop song, if it's a pop song, or whatever the fuck else I'm making. If I'm making a song and I feel inspired to make it, I'm just going to make it. And it's really that simple, especially where I am in life now, which is entirely the reason why I haven't come out with a song in a long time. I think the last song I came out with was like, Yeah. And that's more funk, deep, gravelly, screaming metal, death metal / hip hop / emo goth shit that I'm making just because I think it sounds good. And I know it's an avenue and an area that I can do really well. I mean, I know I came out with a song called Abrigo, which was kind of the point of this part of the show. I have been an artist on contract, AOC, for quite a while now, at least a couple of years, maybe like 3 years, probably longer. No, I take that back. I've been in AOC for way longer than that, as well as making my own music. But I've taken a back seat to making my own music, to helping other people kind of create their vision with theirs. And half the time I could be a ghostwriter. Sometimes I'm a writer. Sometimes I'm a vocalist. Sometimes I'm a writer and a vocalist. And it all depends on who hires me for what. Now, I've done songs with the Scuts. I've done songs for Awesome Rap Battles. Shout out to Rashawn. Shout out to Scuts. And I've been an artist on contract for a little while now, like I said a second ago, even though my brain is sparking all different places. I don't know why, but it's very different than making your own music. When you're making your own music, that comes from you, obviously. It's your concept. It's your idea. It's your song. It's everything that you're thinking of. When you step into a song and say I get hired to write a hip hop song, and they just kind of give me the basic outline of what they want. Or sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just go, all right, write it. And I go, okay, well, fuck, what do you want it to be about? I go, I don't care, just write it. It's like, okay, fucking whatever. It's very different because the creative energy is still there. You still care about what you're making. Obviously, people are paying you, but it's different. It's not, I'm not saying it's not from your heart, but there's a different feeling that you have versus making your own creative work. When you're making your own creative work, sometimes that could be something personal. Sometimes it could be something that you think just sounds badass and you want to make it. When you write something for somebody else and perform something for somebody else, at that point, there's two sides to this. For me, it's the creative itch is still getting scratched, meaning I still get to be creative, but it's different. It's just slightly different. And the only thing I can really identify it as is I'm not making my own song. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's just the one thing that is different that really screams out to me, because I still like the finished product. I still like the song that I made. I'm still proud of the song that I made. However, I'm still acutely aware that it is not my song. It's going to be somebody else's song, and then you're just credited. Well, you fucking better get credited. If you do a song or anything, people, you don't get credited. Get credited. Jesus Christ. It's called building a fucking resume. You need to build that as soon as you can and as often as you can. But that's the major difference. Like when I'm writing, it's fun. I still like it. I love it. I wouldn't do this if I didn't like it. I still like making music. But for whatever reason, there's this weird thing that came over me to where I love making my own music, but in a weird way, I kind of like being a ghostwriter and being a writer and a vocalist on other people's music more than my own sometimes. And it's mainly because I think for me, in a weird way, the pressure's just not there. The pressure to perform is just not there. Because when it's my music, as many of you know, I have this demon of a perfectionist streak in everything I do. which is a big reason why I hesitate to do a lot of things, because I can't do them up to the specifications that I would want them to be. And that holds me back from doing a lot of stuff. And this is a big reason why the YouTube videos haven't come out lately or any of this other stuff, is because I don't have the technology to do it. I don't have the PC. I don't have any of this shit. Look, I'm using a busted 14-year-old fucking laptop and a badass microphone and a dope-ass fucking preamp just so I could do podcast and do voice acting and keep myself afloat. Trust me. When I'm working on other people's songs or doing a rap battle, or sometimes, let me step away from writing for a second and writing the song itself. Sometimes I'm only asked to go on and be a vocalist. And that is one of those gigs that I feel kind of weird about sometimes. Now, I got no issue performing something I hadn't written. I don't really care about that. To me, a job is a job, and it's my voice, and I'm happy to put my work out there for whoever finds it whenever they do. It's one of those things that'll always be out there, and I'm proud of that. I truly am. But when you're asked to do something like, hey, I want you to sing this song for me, or hey, I want you to rap this song for me, and I didn't write the lyrics. Yes, sometimes there is creative liberty that you can take with certain material. Other times you can't. It depends on who you're working with. And in a lot of situations, and pretty much every one that I've ever been in, I've always had a certain amount of creative freedom. I remember they would tell me, hey, here are the lyrics. But they also said, if you think you could improve something, or you think you could do something a little differently, or you like something better that you perform, leave it in. We'll listen to it. If we don't like it, we'll tell you to change it. And sure enough, anytime I come up with something, people go, oh, I like what you did there. I like what you did there. And I go, oh yeah, thank you. Because I try not to have an ego about these things. I really do. I really do. I don't think having an ego about these types of things helps you. And I'm not talking about creatively, like whatever. You could be proud of what you do. I'm talking about in everyday life. I don't think that because I make music or I'm an actor, I do any of these things, mean I'm better in any sort of way. I just think my job is a little more public than other people's. It's my job. In a lot of ways, when people ask me what I do for a living or any of that kind of shit, I'm almost embarrassed to tell them in a lot of ways. And it's very strange to say that out loud. But I am. It's weird. It is really weird. It's weird to say that you're an actor or you're a voiceover artist or you're a narrator or you make music. So I just tell them I'm in the entertainment industry. People go, oh, really? What do you do? And then I got to go, oh, okay. Well, I act, I voice act, I make music on contract, da-da-da-da-da. They go, oh my God, that's such a cool job. You must love it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do. But it's also one of those things where I go, it still is a job, though. Who said it? It was Cypress Hill. Wow, we're going back to the 90s. Cypress Hill came out with the song Rap Superstar, Rock Superstar, whichever version you heard, it's the same fucking song. They just switched rap with rock and people loved it. And on that song, I remember one thing they said. They said, it's a fun job, but it's still a job. And that has never rang more true to me than nearly 10 years in this, and even longer, since 2004, making music. It is a fun job, and I love what I do, but it still is a job. It really is. And that it never evades me, and I think it's a good thing that it never evades me. I love what I do. I love that it scratches this weird creative itch that I have, because I've tried to step away from this stuff before. I mean, people remember this. And when I stepped away from it, I felt empty. I felt completely depressed, and I hated my life. I've worked normal jobs before. Not going to tell you what types of jobs, but I have worked in normal private sector jobs, as many as you can imagine, and I've been fired from more than I would even care to admit. And I was never happy. I was never happy in my fucking life. When I started making music and touring and getting on the radio and getting interviewed and making songs and making money that way and just kind of being out on my own, doing whatever the fuck I could do entertainment-wise to make money, that was what I loved doing. That's where I found value in myself. And creatively speaking, I don't tie my personal value or my personal worth to this. No, not at all. I'm talking professionally. I love what I do. And I would never change it for anything. I'd never trade it. Never. Never. I have sacrificed everything so I can do what I do for this career. I have sacrificed friendships. I have sacrificed relationships. And I will continue to do so. Because for whatever reason, me as a person, I'm not good with people. I never have been. My entire life. And this relates back to music. I remember when I first started making music and nobody would record me. People thought I sucked. And admittedly, I did. I was terrible. I was god-awful, especially in the beginning. And this is a great story. When you start something, when you're a beginner, you suck. You just do. Everybody sucks. And that's not a bad thing. You're supposed to suck. If you were good at everything you started doing immediately, then where would the challenge be? There'd be no seeing improvement and your skill set grow over time. But because nobody would record me, nobody wanted to work with me, nobody gave a fuck about me or took me seriously, I had to learn on my own how to mix and master audio. I had to learn on my own how to write lyrics, how to freestyle, how to produce, how to master a song, not just mixing, mastering. They're two separate skills. A lot of people think they're one and the same, and they're not. They're absolutely not. I had to learn video editing on my own, but that also was on my own in the beginning. And then later on, I got a lot of help. Shout out to my guy Fleets and other people who I just can't think of the name right now, but Fleets was instrumental in teaching me a lot about Adobe Premiere Pro. And he and I are working on something together, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in the future. But right now, that's under wraps, and that'll get revealed when it's time. But it's not ready. But yeah, I mean, that led me to making my own music. And to see where I went from making my own music to what I'm doing now, being an artist on contract, I kind of feel, now maybe this is just my way of making sense of all this random events in life. I think all that time I spent making music by myself with no help kind of gave me the skill set required to becoming an artist on commission now, an artist on contract, to where somebody can give me a song template, give me a genre, and they say, go make it. And I can go write it, and I can go sing it, or I can go rap it. It doesn't make a difference to me. I can do it. And I'm confident in my ability to do these things. And if it's a vocalist, just being a vocalist or whatever, I can do that too. It's literally not a problem. I could do it in my sleep. It just takes time. A$AP Rocky said something very wise. He said, creativity is like 10% idea, 90% editing, or something like that, something to that effect. And regardless, he's right. He's right when he says that, because what he's basically saying, for people who might not get it, and I'm sure all of you do, is that you need the idea, but then you have to work at that idea to make it special. Because if you just have an idea and you slap something together and you throw it out there, no one's going to give a fuck. People only give a fuck when you take the time to curate it into something spectacular. And even then, unfortunately, people can still not give a fuck. But that's not always what matters. What matters is that you take that idea and you turn it into something real. Because once it's real and once it's out there, you know you've made it. And that is more than what 90% of people on this planet Earth have ever done. Most people keep an idea as an idea. And they never go out on a limb to do something scary, to try something new, and try to make something in their mind a reality. And I honestly think this is really important to touch on. I think that I worry where I would be today if I didn't try to act, to voice act, to make music, to live this creative life that I live. And I'm not trying to say that I'm special or better than anybody else. That's not what this conversation's about. I just think it's one of those things to where I genuinely worry about what type of person I would have became if I never did martial arts, if I never fought in MMA, if I never fought in Taekwondo and became a champion, if I never did everything I could in music to try to see how far I could get, to try to see how good I actually was. And I got my answer. I'm good. I'm just not great. Am I okay with that? No, I'm not. As a matter of fact, that shit haunts me every day. But I have my answer. And that's important. When it comes to acting, am I a good actor? Yeah, I think I'm a good actor. I know I'm a good actor. That's why I got hired. But can I be a great actor? Therein lies the question. Maybe I can. Because acting is something that you can do forever. There's no shelf life on when you have to stop acting until you're dead. There's a shelf life on fighting. And I found that out the hard way. And that's not a sob story. That's a matter of reality. I look back at these things and I go, I think this is important for everybody. I think if you have an idea or you have a creative endeavor that you want to pursue, that you go pursue it. Because if you don't, you're always going to wonder. You're always going to wonder, what if you tried it? If you want to be an actor, go try and be an actor. If you want to be a singer, go and try and be a singer. Now, you have to have a sense of reality with certain things, or don't listen to me. Because I certainly didn't listen to other people when they told me you can't do it. There's tons of people who told me you'd never make it. And I said, fuck all of you. I didn't give a fuck. I said, yeah, that's what you think. Tell me I can't do something. Then I'll prove it to myself. Not even for all of them. I'll just prove it to myself that I can do it. Next thing I know, I made movies. Was an extra. Been in fight choreographer. Been in speaking roles. Been in voice acting. Been in video games. I just did a dope-ass video game. Can't tell you what it is yet because I don't know if I'm allowed to yet. But that video game I'm in is kind of cool because I'm actually the main character. So everybody who likes me, from Planet X and my work with the solar balls to the Liosax to Halo Machinimas and Derp Online and Nexus and Skyrim stories and Geek Films, shout out to Geek Films, and the Kung Fu Panda comic dubs that I'm doing and everything I do with Elementia Studios and the minor roles I play there, to all the stuff that I've done and everybody else that I haven't mentioned yet. Shout out to Veronica, exclamation point. She's a great artist. I highly recommend you go check her out. Fantastic work. Shout out to Mare Bear and a lot of the excellent work that I've been able to do with her too. It's just, the whole point of the conversation is, if you have something that you want to do, I highly recommend that you go out and do it. Because life is too short. And I've said this to a lot of people. Tomorrow is promised to nobody. And one day, every single one of us is going to draw our last breath. And do you want to be on your deathbed, if you even get to have that luxury? Because sometimes people don't. Sometimes people die and it's quick. And they don't get the opportunity to think about their life and everything they could and couldn't have done in it. But do you really want to die with having what ifs on your heart? I don't. So I won't. That's how I live my life. And I've said this to a lot of producers, a lot of casting directors, a lot of agents, and all these other people that I've worked with. I tell them every single time that I look at every project like it's the last one I'm ever going to do. Even this show. Even this show. The one that I self-produce in conjunction and distributed by Cited TV. Shout out to Cited TV and Lloyd. Much love to Lloyd. He's a good kid. He's a really good kid. Had some great conversations with the young man. He has, he's real driven, and I respect that. But I'm not going to live life with what ifs. I won't do that. But I will do every show, every audition, every role like it's my last, for the exact reasons that I talked about earlier. Because tomorrow is promised to nobody. And I might not wake up tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I will. Sorry to get so doomy and gloomy here, but I'm sure I will. But I might not. And if I die and there's no tomorrow, then at least I've been able to contribute something that everybody can go check out. And that is important to me. It's like, it's not a legacy. That's not what that is. Legacy involves greatness. I've done nothing great. But what I have been able to do throughout my time in being a voice talent, being an actor, being all these things, songwriter, whatever the fuck I've been a part of creatively, I've been able to help people bring their passions to life. People, producers, companies. I've been able to make all these people happier by helping them create this project that they want to see to its completion. And I think that's what drives me to keep going. Not only the money. The money is only part of it. It's why I stay in this line of work. Because when I get a response from fans, from the project leads themselves, from fellow actors, from everybody who's involved in these things, and they're so happy, and the writers are happy, and the producers is happy, and the fans are happy, and everybody's just like, oh yeah, we're so glad what you did. You brought this character to life. Or, oh, it's finally out. We're super stoked about it. Yeah. Get it. Let's go. That makes me happy. And that makes me proud. It makes me really proud to participate in something like this. And I know that not everybody gets that opportunity. And I cherish that. I cherish the fact that I'm able to do something that's special. Not that it makes me special. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm happy and I appreciate the fact that I can do something that's special for other people. And I'll never not look at it that way. It's been something in my life that I've always valued, especially when I woke up one day and realized, oh shit, I'm a fucking actor now. Oh shit, this is my job. Because you have to remember, people, I didn't start out this way. I wasn't rich growing up. Fuck no, I was poor. My family lost our house when I was younger. Had to live in a fucking motel. And we've all had struggles. We've all had tough times, and I'm no different. But I will obviously say that there are people out there who have had it far worse than I have. Absolutely. But for me, I didn't have a lot of money growing up. And I still don't have a lot of money, even now. But that's not what this conversation's about. This conversation is about, well, it's one-sided. But this is about doing the things that are important to you. And I highly encourage that everybody do that. I really do. If you are a writer, write and then publish it. Don't keep it in your fucking draft files. Publish it. It's never been easier to self-publish your own work. And I'm not sure why people don't do it. I really don't. I understand that we don't have time and people say that, but I kind of don't believe that. Look, people scroll on their phones for 3-4 hours total a day, if not more. Some less, some more. I'm just guessing, okay? But if you have time to scroll on your phone, then you have time to learn how to manage your time better. There is no excuse why you or anybody else on this planet should be bored. How dare you disrespect the time and the life you have on this planet? Because I won't do that. I'm never bored. I'm either stressed out or I'm working on something. I'm rarely, if ever, happy. I can't even tell you the last time I was happy because honestly, it doesn't happen very often. And the reason for that is because I don't live to be happy. I think that's one of the craziest things in the world. I don't understand why people say that. They say, oh, I just want to live a happy life. Are you sure? Because you're going to be chasing that shit the rest of your life. I don't want to live a happy life. I want to live a life with purpose and success. And I think that's very different than people who want to live just a happy life. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting to chase that, but that's the key word there. You're always going to be chasing it. Purpose? Success? You don't chase success. You attain success. You don't chase purpose. You live with purpose. It's like excellence. Excellence isn't something that just happens. Excellence only happens if you practice it every day. Excellence is a habit, and it doesn't become a habit until you do it on a regular basis. Now, I'm not saying I am the definition of excellence. I'm far from it. I have my bad days. I have my good days. I have my inconsistencies, just like everybody listening right now. But what I will say is that practice these things. And if you have something that you want to do, go out and do it. Make a song, write a book, draw something. If you like art, whatever you like doing, go do it. If you want to be a fighter, a wrestler, a jiu-jitsu person, whatever the fuck you want to do, go out and do it. The only thing that's stopping you is you. And if you think you don't have time, learn how to manage your time better, because you can. You absolutely can. If you think you need more sleep, just sleep faster. That sounds stupid, but Arnold Schwarzenegger did it. I do it. Countless other people do it. They all seem to be doing okay. You can too. I believe in you. You'll figure it out. All right. I think I've said enough today. I have a lot of projects coming up. I've recently done a few video games. I've done a ton of voice acting work. And if you go to my YouTube channel, there is a playlist called Game J on Film. And that is where you can find every final cut that is publicly available with the voice acting that I have provided on those various projects. And I'm proud of all of them, from the stuff I did on the Titan AE reimagining to the work that I've done with Elementia Studios to my time as Planet X on the Solar Balls. And yes, I read your questions. I will get to them. I've actually planned on doing an entire show based on Planet X and my involvement with the Solar Balls and all the questions that all of you have dumped onto me. I know it's been a while, but I've been in the process of moving, and I genuinely have been focusing on making sure that happens. And then I will sit down, I will sift through all the questions, and I will answer them for you. It'll be a long-ass podcast. Or maybe, I don't know, it might be a short one. I have no idea, because I'm not going to talk about anything else but the Solar Balls on that particular show. Future episode. But I've done a lot of video game work. If you go to the playlist on YouTube at Game J on YouTube, you'll find Game J on Film, where you'll find all the animations I've done and all the work I've done there. If you go to like Game J's Music or Music by Game J, I think it's Game J's Music. Same YouTube channel, Game J. You'll find my own work, and you'll find other work that I've done, commission songs and all that type of stuff. So big shout out to Scuts, to Roshan from Awesome Rap Battles for hiring me as a vocalist and sometimes writer on various projects. And shout out to everybody that I've worked with, because there's too many people to name. There just is. And if I, dude, I'll just forget them. I'll just forget names, and I'll feel like a bastard. But don't worry. Suffice it to say, I love you all. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to portray these characters, to do these songs, to help all of you create these projects that I love being a part of. In my heart of hearts, I can honestly say that I think I need all of you more than you might realize. And I'm not sure if other actors go through this. I'm not sure if other voiceover talents think this way, but I do. I don't look at this as a parasocial relationship between all of us. I don't. I look at this as friends talking. I just look at it as a friend talking to his friends. The only difference is it's a one-sided conversation. And in times when I feel like I don't have anybody in the world, I look to all of you. And that makes me feel better. And it gives me hope. A lot more hope than you might think. And I appreciate you all. And I love you more than you realize. Because the amount of impact you've had on my life for the better, for the positive, I don't even have words for. I truly don't. I started acting because it just happened, basically. It just kind of happened. And I look at life now for what I do. And I just got to say that I am very appreciative and I'm very blessed to have all of you who listen to me, who follow me, who like what I do. So thank you. I appreciate you. You all are very important to me. And that concludes this broadcast day with Phrasing with Jay. Be smart. If you do anything stupid, just don't get caught. Love you.